Hi, Assalamualaikum, and a very good day, especially to our lecturer, Dr. Abdullah. Today we are going to present about standard of living in Thailand. Before that, we will introduce ourselves. My name is Siti Nartina binti Darmancan. My matric number 202519.
Hi, my name is ANISHA binti ALIAS and my matric number is 200839.
Hi, my name is NURWAHIDAH binti ROSLI. My matric number is 2020-37.
Hi, my name is NURUL binti ROSLAN. My matric number is 204090.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Syafiq Yusri and my matric number is 200384.
Okay, during this presentation, we will talk about introduction, scientifically valid argument, theoretical framework, methodology, and the last one is conclusion. Okay, Thailand is a country located in southern Asia, bordering the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. Neighboring countries include Burma, Cambodia, Laos, and Malaysia. The government system is a constitutional monarchy. The chief of state is the king, and the head of government is the prime minister. Okay, Thailand has a mixed economic system in which there is a variety of private freedom combined with centralized economic planning and government regulation with gross national income 6,610. Okay, Thailand is known for its stunning beach, the friendly people, elephant, and for having the yoga like Thai massage. I think Thailand is famous for delicious food like pad Thai, som tam, and mango sticky rice. Okay, such as template tuk-tuk and floating market and full moon parties. Okay, but after a third wave of coronavirus infected struck the tourism-relying nation this month, Thailand Finance Ministry reduced its 2021 economic growth forecast for a second time this year to 2.3% from 2.8%. Okay, economic growth in Thailand contracted to 6.1% in 2020 due to a decline in external demand affecting trade and tourism, supply chain disruption, and weakening domestic consumption. The COVID-19 outbreak has created several additional challenges in the labor market. The primary impact has been spike in unemployment rate, which doubled from 1% in the first quarter of 2019 and 2% in the second quarter of 2020.
Okay, moving on to the next slide, I will explain about the scientifically valid arguments. As we all know that over the last 4 decades, Thailand has made a remarkable progress in social and also economic development, that they moved from a low income to an upper middle income in less than a generation. So as we can see from this slide, the first graph is per capita GDP Thailand. They has increased by years, and the latest one, Thailand GDP per capita for 2019 has increased 7.01% from 2018, and Thailand GDP per capita for 2018 has increased 10.66% from 2017. And the next graph is gross fixed capital formation from the years 1960 to 2019, and in 2019, gross capital formation growth for Thailand was negative 3.7%. And even though Thailand gross capital formation has fluctuated substantially in recent years, it tends to decrease through 2000-2019 period, ending at negative 3.7% in 2019. Next slide. Okay, the first graph is the graph literacy rates. As we all know that literacy rate is a percentage of people aged 15 and above who can read and write with understanding a short, simple statement about their everyday life. And Thailand literacy rate for 2018 was 93.77%, a 0.9% increase from 2015. And Thailand literacy rate for 2015 was 92.87%, a 0.83% decline from 2015. And the next graph is graph saving rates. The saving rates is a measurement of the amount of money that the person deducts from their possible personal income to set aside as a nest egg or for retirement. And saving rate in Thailand has decreased to 10% in 2019 from 10.40% in 2018. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, the theoretical framework, Song et al. Aim to apply a more rigorous modeling strategy known as the general to specific approach to investigate the determinant of the demand for Thailand tourism. So the gravity model exhibits the strong empirical relationship between the size of a country, economy, and the volume of both its import and export, which is that appropriately characterize the empirical evidence within the theoretical framework. So it has been proven as a useful method for selecting empirical economic models. So based on Todaro and Smith's, an economy has structurally transformed once the manufacturing sector contribution to national income has surpassed the contribution by the agricultural. So the focal point, this theory is to show the process of how undeveloped economy transform their structure from traditional agriculture to a modern and industrial diverse manufacturing and service sector. So in the Lewis theory of economic development, also known as the two-sector surplus labor model, first, the agriculture sector is assumed to have an abundance of labor that result in low, close to zero, and marginal productivity of labor. So wages are presumed to follow the sharing rule and be equal to the average productivity, for example, a low wages. Second, the manufacturing sector is assumed to have an abundance of capital and resources relative to labor. Therefore, the sector pursues profit and employs labor to higher wages rate than of the agriculture sector by approximately 30%. So the manufacturing sector that can draw the surplus labor without creating any loss of output for the agriculture sector. So this process of self-sustaining growth and expansion of labor is assumed to continue until all surplus labor is transferred into the new industrial sector. Next, I will pass to Wahidah.
Okay, next is the methodology. Okay, for these presentations, we actually use two approach of methodology, which is the data preparations and conceptual framework. Okay, the data preparations, the data are actually collected from the World Bank for about like 59 years, which is starting from 1960 to 2019. The variable that we use is actually like per capita GDP, gross speeds, capital formation, saving rates, and literacy rates. These variables has its important role to get a better understanding of living standard in Thailand. Next is the conceptual framework. Okay, we apparently physical and human capitals are actually parts of capital accumulations. Thailand capital accumulations has influenced economic growth of countries, which are represented by the growth trend of GDP per capita. So this actually applies gross fixed capital formations and saving rates as the proxy of to determine the physical. Meanwhile, literacy rate as the proxy to determine national human capital. So, based on our knowledge, which is on solo growth model and endogenous growth model, solo growth model actually used to stimulate physical capital. Meanwhile, endogenous growth theory actually used to expand human capital. So by using and understanding the important variables such as per capita GDP, gross fixed capital, formation saving rate, and literacy rates, and applying our knowledge of solo growth model and endogenous growth theory, we actually can see the living of standard of Thailand changes across times. So I will pass to the next presenter.
So I will explain to you the conclusion, what I can understand from this presentation, basically about the standard living of Thailand. First of all, to understand is Thailand is basically a mixed economic system. The country is in industrial and services sectors have become the main sectors that result into the Thailand GDP, gross domestic product. But we also must understand that agriculture, trade, logistics, communication, and in fact, tourism also play a significant role to enhance and to increase the GDP throughout the years. Although the COVID-19 have construct the GDP forecast, but throughout the years, the economy of Thailand is increasing at a very remarkable rates. Then the second one is Thailand also is the second largest economy in Southeast Asia. The Thailand GDP recorded about $506 billion in 2019, resulting from the mass economic activities and projects. Especially, the government is focusing on the tourism and also the service sector. These two sectors have been focused by the government of Thailand to enhance their GDP from either the tourism to attract, because Thailand is one of the most attractive amount of tourists in the world. This is the first place. So they are very projects that are related to increase their economy. So the third one is Thailand also is one of the countries with the lowest unemployment rates in the world. In fact, Thailand unemployment rate is surprisingly for 2019 was only 0.75%, a 0.01 decline from 2018. This is due to large portion of the population working age in the substation join in the agricultural sector. Rather than most of the unemployment, they did not want to find any job, they join the agricultural sector or any vulnerable employment, maybe work as their own. So that's the result why Thailand have a very lower unemployment rate. So next to the next slide. Next slide. Okay, now we're moving to the Thailand potential limitation in terms of the standard of living that resulting maybe from the GDP or either any related. The first of all is the US trade war tension. The key drivers of slowing growth of the GDP of Thailand from 2019 are coming from the impact of US-China trade tension. This resulting to the slowing public investment, a drought and impacting agricultural production and lower tourist visitors. This is resulting the country to have a lower GDP, thus resulting the standard of living of the country is become more lower because they do not have any and disposable income to spend because they don't have a higher GDP. The second one is the most common one is the pandemic COVID-19 infection. The pandemic COVID-19 really affected the economy. There are more people become unemployment. Although Thailand is a very high in terms of lower in terms of the unemployment rate because of the COVID-19 infection and people cannot get the vaccine, and this resulting the economy become suddenly collapse as we can see. That is the second reason. And the third one is the weakness in education, outcomes and skill matching. And this in fact this include the weakness of education outcomes that they have a risk future productivity, chance of the younger generation and increased spatial inequality with remote areas falling behind in economic and welfare indicators. In fact, a Thai child born today can expect to obtain 12.7 years of schooling before the age of 18. However, one adjusted quality of learning, there are only amount of 8.7 years of schooling, which is indicating 3 years downturn in terms of the schooling. So this is resulting when weakness of education, it will resulting to a lower skills. So this is the Thailand problems that we can face. So moving on to the next slide is the implication on the economic growth of Thailand. Thailand has a remarkable progress in social and economic development, moving from a lower income to an upper medium income country in less than a generation. In fact, Thailand also economy grew at an average annual rate of 7.5% in the boom years of 1960 until 1996 and 5% during the 1990 until 2005 following the Asian financial crisis in the 2008. This growth also created millions of jobs that helped pull millions of people out of poverty. As what I said, the unemployment of Thailand is very low. So this is resulting, the government created millions of jobs. And these also gains have been impressive across multiple dimensions of welfare. More children getting more years of education. Practically everyone now has health insurance and other forms of social security has also been expanded. That is all about our presentation today, the standard of living of Thailand. Thank you.